Hey everybody, I'm Bentaro Rifferashi, and today I have the opportunity to test drive the Bytes Bass Sound Monster. This bass is being given away as a prize in the Bass Player magazine 400th anniversary issue. So if you're the lucky person who's actually won this thing, I'm a little bit jealous because it's cool and there's a lot going on. So very briefly, I'm going to run through what all of this stuff does and what's happening. So first, the traditional stuff that every bass has, wood. The body is made of alder and the neck is hard maple. The fretboard is a wood called black locust, which comes from the Vienna woods, the Wienerwald, which is Vienna's where this bass is made. So I like that it's locally sourced and none of this is tropical wood. They give the fretboard a thermal treatment to give it its dark look. It has a nice oily feel. It's very stable and it's quite similar to rosewood, I suppose. The pickup configuration is jazz bass bridge, jazz bass neck, and precision bass or split coil in the neck position. These aren't standard off-the-shelf pickups. These are Bytes Bass's own proprietary design, and they output 1000 millivolts, which is huge. The benchmark for most high output pickups is around 700 millivolts. Most standard pickups are around 300. So this huge output, and it's completely passive. What we've got down here is a bunch of possibilities for how we can combine the pickups in different ways. So at its most basic, we've got bridge pickup. Your pretty standard honky nasal jazz bass bridge pickup. Then if I turn here, the P is for parallel. That wires this pickup in parallel with either this one or this one, and you choose over here, the single coil or pop down for the split coil. So with the two single coils in parallel, it's your standard jazz bass wiring, albeit with massively high output. But what I can also do is change the phase of this pickup. So now it's got this much lower output, kind of honky out of phase sound. Whilst this may not be your typical thundering low end bass tone, it actually works really nicely for chords. I can then switch over to the bridge and P bass pickup in parallel. I'll put it back in phase. And if I put this one out of phase, what I really like about the out of phase sound is not just how it works with chords. It thins out the low end to give you more space for more notes, but it also seems to really react to where your hands are on the strings. It really changes tonally if I pick in different places, if my hand is in different places. I can then switch again and use just one or other of the neck pickups. I choose that single coil or split coil. So split coil on its own is your standard kind of precision bass sound. And then the single coil. I guess now with this switch you could finally answer that question. Does the neck pickup on a jazz bass really do the same thing as a split coil P bass pickup? Don't really sound the same, do they? When I come to the last setting here on this dial, S, now the pickups are going to be wired in series. So this gives a big boost, and it also puts them in a humbucking mode, assuming that they're wired in phase. So if I have my two single coil jazz bass pickups, they're now wired in series as one humbucker, and they have much higher output. And of course the PJ configuration. And I can also use those possibilities out of phase as well. I can just flip the switch here. This is my split coil phase switch. So now this is out of phase, this is in phase, wired in series. Honky as all hell, I love it. And out of phase series jazz bass setting. The out of phase settings are really working with chords. Things I love about this bass. This thing right here, the Ellio Martina BassMute. Ellio Martina's a Dutch luthier. Just all the thud and stank you could want out of a bass. More things that I love about this bass. Jazz bass and P bass in series, super massively high output, 1000 millivolts, giving you all the thunderous low end thump you could want. Quite a nice bark as well. You can really hear that mix of P kind of hollowness, jazz bass bridge pickup snarl and bark. It's an outrageous concept. It's like the Swiss Army knife of basses, or maybe the iPhone of basses, or maybe that's daft and it's just a great bass. It's really nice to play too. There's a lot more information about this bass in the link below the video, so go check out Bytes Bass of Vienna. They're doing all kinds of interesting combinations of pickup configurations and sound. You can really pick and choose exactly what you want. Doesn't really look like there's much of a limit to what you could have either.